Well, it looks like Freak and Exel are on the screen, but that's not the audio that I'm getting. Who is this?
Why, it's us. It's Caster Rev, and I'm Stripes. So we are going to be casting this uh, matchup between Dignitas and FlyQuest, two experimental matchups in the LCS, and I'm quite excited to see how they play. Johnson used to, especially with Johnson, who last season actually was on Dignitas, so that's going to be a little bit of a grudge match coming out in the bottom lane. So I'm really excited for it.
Stripes, have you ever seen the movie Blazing Saddles at all? The classic comedy movie at all?
I have not.
It's one you definitely should try, but they make fun of the word Johnson like they do in Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. It's another word for penis. By the way, he's also a good 80 carry, and now on FlyQuest, who has got a bunch of the C9 Academy squad now on their team, and some guy named NXI. I don't know who this guy is, not part of their main roster. I believe Santorin had visa issues. A bunch of the European
Santorin
teams.
did have Santorin did have visa issues, but he's on Team Liquid right now.
Ah, well.
FlyQuest had to rebuild their entire FlyQuest rebuilt their entire roster. But we can talk more about rosters and how we expect them to play later. We have Champ Select to get through. First things first that I see coming out of Dignitas is the Talia Renekton combo. And that's a very volatile combo, especially when you have point and click CC that allows Talia to just launch people back into her rocks and get a bunch of damage. Anyone with reliable point and click CC is going to be very, very helpful with that combo.
Absolutely. In bronze and silver games, you have the Talia gank your top lane and dies to the top lane. But in high elo and professional play, you have the Talia jungle Renekton top combo, which can pretty much 2v2 any other two champions in the game. So it's a lane that you continually expect the Talia to go up and put pressure in. But it's also known by the other squad, and there's kind of a back and forth on how they're going to play it. And how FlyQuest has decided to play it is to go ahead and take the Ornn and saying, you know what, we're not going to go ahead and beat our fists against your fish. No, we're going to take a brick wall in Ornn and we're going to play weak side bot and we're going to win the game elsewhere. Or my name isn't Licorice.
Yes,
There you go. I'm getting
that it.
ready, okay? It's LCS 2021. All right, it's our first cast together here in the LCS season. Stripes, I'm getting excited. It's not even the regular season yet, and I can't wait to see some of these teams. You were telling me earlier that you were really looking to this game to see are these two teams kind of middle of the road teams that can kind of get into a playoff spot and maybe get a playoff upset, or are these going to be teams on the outside looking into the playoff picture with a poor performance tonight and maybe not a good season? What do you think?
Well, I'm thinking that I think FlyQuest has the most potential out of those middle of the pack teams. EG did upset C9, so that is something you got to take into account. I do think C9 was playing a bit looser than they normally would, but at the same time, you got to give a lot of props for EG getting everything done, especially with Impact, which is probably the most underrated pickup of this entire offseason, thanks to the fact of big names like Alfari, Jose Diodo, and Perks, of all people, coming over. And speaking of big pickups, Palafox finally getting his debut on FlyQuest, playing the Oriana, but he gets counterpicked by Soligo with a Yone. We did see Perks bring out the Yone last game, but it really was a bit of a hit or miss opportunity. Again, that loose style, but Yone is flashy, volatile, and flashiness goes with this entire Dignitas lineup, especially when you have someone like Samir on the team. And it looks like we're going to get our first taste of Rel in the LCS. Was banned out against Core JJ, but now Diamond has it with Johnson's Kaisa in the bot lane. But that Leona Samir matchup is something you don't want to go against a Samira Leona bot lane. It's just too volatile.
Yeah, well, if it gets ahead, then it's really lights out. But I tell you, who's a good counter against Leona is the Rel. So we haven't been seeing it too much because it has been getting banned. But this is a matchup in the bot lane I'm really excited to look forward to. But then also the Kai'Sa up against the Samira. We also seen this matchup earlier today. And although the Samira got the best of the matchup today, Kai'Sa statistically has a much higher win rate at this point. Is statistically the best mid laner. Bot laner in the game. I believe for traditional AD carries, I think Swain still edges her out. Who's just a beast in both the bot carry position and the support position. You have much
The
experience with Swain and any of the lanes, their stripes?
uh, I've seen a lot of Swain support, not really in occasionally sometimes mid, not too much as a bot lane carry player, but I don't but you don't really see him there anyway in pro play unless you see someone on the field by the name of Gadget. But Gadget is not in the LCS. He is looking for work in the LEC instead. So I would expect to see a lot more of the traditional bot lane picks. Maybe occasionally a mage if like really necessary because your team is heavily AD, like with a AD top jungle and mid, you need a little bit of an AP carry like Cassio in the bot lane or something.
Stripes.
But
Sorry to continue. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
but overall, I think mostly you're going to see traditional ADCs. You're going to see a lot of Samira. You're going to see a lot of Kai'Sa. We haven't seen a lot of Vayne, but I think Vayne is probably the second or third best ADC currently because of the flexibility. We did see that Aphelios did get banned by Dignitas as their third phase 1 ban, but that's mostly because of the Runan Hurricanes changes coming into season 11. It basically got reverted back to the item it was in season 10, which is very, very helpful. You hit that item spike a lot quicker, and that is a really big power spike for Aphelios, especially when he has his Severum, his red gun, his lifesteal gun. So I can understand the ban there, but looking back to the game, it doesn't seem to be too much level 1 action going on. So you're just going to see some normal jungle clears coming out from these junglers. Taliyah is going to clear it a little bit faster than Graves, but still, Graves is still pretty fast with his clearing. It looks like he's going for the 4 camp clear, or maybe just full clear minus Krugs, but we'll just have to see about that.
All right,
Some
Stripes,
aggressive
I got to
warding from
interject. You
Palafox.
mentioned player Gadget. Well, I got to tell you, the only way we're going to see Gadget in the LCS is if Sneaky decides to do a sexy cosplay version of him and, maybe snap some photos. That's the only way we're going to see an Inspector Gadget here in the LCS. But here, I just had to get in with that one. I was waiting the last minute for it. I was like, oh, Gadget, Inspector Gadget. Yes, sneaky cosplay. It works. It works. And finally, I could throw it down, even though it's a minute way after the fact. But this game's starting off awfully even, and we're getting to see some early Taliyah jungle action. If you've never tried her in the jungle before, definitely take a look at some professional players or some high elo players work through her in the jungle. It's kind of like Graves. It takes a little bit of finagling, but once you get it, you're really able to go through there quickly. And Yone is getting inside. Saligo's trying to get some damage onto Palafox. Is this academy or is this professional? What is?
I mean, it feels like Academy when you look at the players in the mid lane, but still, that's that pressure that Yone brings. Once he hits level 3, he has all of his abilities unlocked minus his ultimate, of course, but still, that's a lot of pressure he can bring out, especially with his E. It allows him to go in, trade aggressively, get even more damage because of the repeat damage coming out of it, and he'll still be able to get back to safety after he casts it the second time, which is why he's really good into these ranged matchups. He just has to take some of that pressure for the first 2 levels.
Well, I've said it many times before, but I'll state it in case I've never said it to you. But I am a FlyQuest fan, and I have been for the last year or two, and I'm very very curious on how this newly formed team of all these Gordon these highly ranked academy players, they were dominating, and C9 Academy was winning academy championships. But now it's against a whole other team, and yes, you're having Licorice there in the top lane to round out your squad, and you're seeing a lot of good top laners in this league. It's gonna it. You know, especially with Alfari coming in, top lane is not going to be easy for any of the bottom half of the competition. And you look over in Fake God, and it could be a really tough year for him in some of these matchups. Someday, be looking like an absolute monster as he's used to be, as he normally does, rather.
Not to mention, not to mention Licorice. Still, we haven't seen much of him, but he is that reliable player that can flex around and do whatever his team needs in the top lane. Impact, that reliable heavy bruiser tank juggernaut player in the top lane, also really really good. It's going to be very difficult for people like Fake God, and if Huni doesn't perform well, Haunter is waiting in the wings, and I think Haunter could stand up to some of these good laners. I think top lane is going to be one of the best positions for NA going forward because of this massive influx of talent, specifically Alfari coming in. And if Fudge can step up to the table, if Fake God can prove that he's good enough, Huni, if he busts and Haunter comes in and performs really well, or if just we see the good side of Huni, I think top lane could probably be one of the best lanes for NA.
We're seeing a pretty static beginning of the game here. No kills, no real major aggression as of yet. You have seen FlyQuest pick up that first Infernal Dragon, so slight edge over for them, but really neither team has done anything too wild. Looking around the map, both teams scale all right, but if I had to be in any position, I would be FlyQuest.
Oh,
But here, big Orin alt is going to go ahead and miss the charge. Not going to get anything solid to knock up in. Renekton alt goes down, and we're going back to static laning.
I
Stripes,
do.
break it down.
I That Orin ultimate was trying to punish that over aggression from the Dignitas top jungle duo. They were trying to steal some more Krugs. They were trying to steal some more camps away from this Graves in the top side. Dardoch already has that XP lead, and he wants to keep it by stealing away some of the jungle camps. But at the same time, that Orin ultimate was really, really good coming out of Licorice. But Dardoch had a nice flash to get out of the way, not get stunned up, able to escape out of that. Fake God just relying on the ultimate to get out of there, and in reality, it was just a flash. It was just a flash and an ultimate for a flash and an ultimate. Got some action down here in the bot lane though.
Yep, you're having Dardoch trying to follow up, but a real quick escape by FlyQuest as they got their hands caught in the cookie jar, and they didn't want Mom finding out, so they quickly took him out and ran out of the kitchen back to their towers and respective Nexus Eye, and they are going to continue through this mid game. That yes, only 300 gold down, and like I said, even though FlyQuest might have a slight advantage in the scaling, this game really, I mean, League of Legends as a whole really hasn't been where you go to 40 minutes and see how the game ends up there. The game's often won or lost by the 15 or 20-minute mark. So early advantages are key, and that's why you pick Renekton. It's not to see how it's going to be in level 16 in the split push game. When you're against another split pusher or something like that. No, no, no. You need to be getting kills in lane. You be diving turret. And right now he's got a CS lead. Does Fake God. Does have some items, a slight lead on the Orin, but really has to put the hammer down with this one level lead, or else, it's a wasted pick.
I think is the one who's going to be bringing the hammer down, as that's his weapon of choice.
Ta-da! Yep.
But overall, it looks like Dignitas will pick up this Rift Herald for free, uncontested. Licorice was caught up clearing out the wave, trying to get vision, wasn't able to get there quick enough, thanks to that Talia able to get a lot of damage out thanks to recent buffs coming into the season, pretty much removing the damage fall off from each successive Q. But as we start seeing some items come out, we can start pinpointing on where each champion is going first with their item builds. Not all of them are so crystal clear as we see Graves coming in with a Noon Quiver, which is basically any marksman mythic builds out of a Noon Quiver. So, can't really see what he's going out with there. But it looks like we're probably going to see a collector coming out for the Kaisa. Early Seeker's Arm Guard for the Orianna helps out with that. Yone helps out in that lane against the Yone. That armor stacking is really, really helpful if you're playing an AP champion into an AD assassin or maybe Yasuo Yone. Pick that up early. It's really, really good, especially with the stacking. You can get that's 900 gold and it gives you 25 AD, but there's a fight going on in the bot lane.
Well, going in with the ult, but Leona's going to go right back in. We're having a teleport coming in. It is Fake God, and he is going to go ahead and put the ult on from the back, but he's not close to anyone. Palafox getting a kill directly under turret, but Rel is going to try to get out, did initiate this team fight, and is going to be the last one to go down, it looks like. Diamond going to try to make a blast cone play. Gets back to the tower. So, oh, how unfair this League of Legends life is. Starts the team fight for his team. Multiple members, jungle, his mid lane, all dead. And he, oh, I was going to say gets out. And he doesn't. Justice, karmatic.
Not over.
The universe plays itself out.
Doesn't look like to be over, though.
Licorice says, hey, I want to come in not being full health and try to do something. I guess stop the dive, but going to use the teleport, not get anything out of it. So a little bit, unfortunate for Licorice. And now not only losing the teleport, going to lose the dragon as well. So it seems to be sadness all over, like it's a Dostoevsky novel. Dostoevsky. Whoa, I have an issue with that.
It's not a common word for English, so that's fair. But looking back at that fight, it was a 4-for-3 in Dignitas's favor, as well as giving them their first Drake of the game. A massive, massive skirmish down in the bot lane. But you also have to look at where those kills went. 2 to the Renekton, 1 to the Yone, 1 to the Samira, 1 to the Orianna, but 2 to the Rel. You don't want to see all of those kills, especially the first blood going to the Rel. Excuse me. That is a lot of gold that it could be on one of your carries that just went onto your support instead. Yes, it helps Rel survive in team fights, but she's getting caught out right here.
That was a whole lot of Leona CC, and it's Afromu making that play. And as a big time fan of Afromu, I mean, it's really been disappointing seeing him in recent seasons, and I really hope that he gets back in some semblance of his previous form. And that breeds a little bit of hope. Just Zenith Blade in, and then follow up with a Q. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just do that. Helps the team. What else helps the team?
God.
Renekton's going to go ahead. Fake God's going to get in.
Ooh.
Graves not able to get out. Going ahead and trying to use the ultimate for that little bit of extra move speed backwards. That little jump backwards that you get shooting the projectile.
All right. There's a lot to divulge into. There is so much that needs explaining. So, in that fight in the bottom lane, Rel did initiate the fight. She is really good on CC and sticking in those fights. She wants quicker fights because her ultimate isn't really the big. Those immobile targets are prime targets. As we see the replay right here, she flashes in and gets the Leona with the E and the ultimate, but she does manage to get first blood. Neo, on the other hand, does manage to get an ultimate off and will kill off Neo. Fight kind of splits into 2 ways as Palafox picks off Dardoch in the bottom. Soligo chases far, far with his E and does get an XI in the end. However, It wasn't enough. Palafox trying to walk through the blue turret, trying to get the execute, but Fake God is there in time to manage to clean it up. All in all, a really, really good fight for Dignitas. They did turn that into a dragon after that, and there then the TP resulted into really nothing coming out from it, and just a big more advantage for the Renekton in the top side. Right? Then Graves trying to invade the bot side jungle, trying to get back his lead. As you can tell, he's 0-2-2. He has nearly he has a 12 CS deficit, and he tried to invade that bot side in that top side jungle. However, Fake God caught him out, who is really, really strong. Just completed Gore Tracker as he takes down the top turret. Will take him down, and Saligo coming over with the E and the ultimate to finish off the kill, giving him another one. And back to Diamond getting caught out in the bot lane. They turned that into first tower because thankfully Dardoch was down there with the Rift Herald and he dropped it. As we see some action in the top side.
Whoa, all kinds of action, and that tower is going to be much to do about nothing. As Renekton being able to not only get a second kill and a second assist now, but it's going to be pushing hard onto the second turret. And I know, Stripes, you're an old fashioned stickler for gold distribution. And well, if you look over on
Indeed.
the Dignitas squad, you have 2 kills in the top lane, a kill in the jungle, 2 kills in the mid lane, 2 on the AD carry, and look at that, none in the support.
Indeed. So basically, Dignitas has 4 players that can carry, 4 champions that can carry. All of them can carry except the Leona. Leona can carry in her own way, but if there's not enough damage follow up, she's basically useless. With all these kills going out, look, all the mythics are coming out. Gore Drinker for Renekton, Leandries for Talia, Gale Force for Yone, which I think is an interesting choice, and Immortal Shield Bow. As we see right here, 1,400 gold lead in the bot lane for Dignitas thanks to those 2 kills. However, but you can see that FlyQuest actually has a gold lead in the mid lane thanks to the CSing of Palafox.
They want the
And
fight here.
if I'm not mistaken, was that like a 2,000 gold lead in the top lane as the fight happens down in the bot jungle?
You're absolutely right, but FlyQuest just absolutely obliterated away from here. Dignitas is cleaning up all over the map. They're not only going to pick up a couple of kills, this being the third, they're going to get a dragon to boot. Dignitas is now taking complete control of this game. And this org that was part of the original orgs and hasn't been around in a couple of years is now coming back and has now got a little bit of new life breathed into it. Maybe Aframu is going to raise from the grave as well as this dead org. I can't wait. It could be the return of Aframu here.
I think Aframu was one of the most underrated supports of season 10. There was just I think him and Johnson were a really, really good bot lane for Dignitas, but the problem was that the pieces around him wasn't good enough. But now we see Saligo and Dardoch actually showing up. I think that's going to be good. As we get into the replay, Saligo with a good 2-man ultimate onto both the Kaisa and the Orianna, taking them out of the fight early on. Fake God, too tanky for NXI to do much. Dardoch does manage to get Diamond, and Saligo happily finds an out-of-place, low-health Orianna to get that kill in. And of course, Licorice just caught out of position as an Ornn with no items, no real damage behind him. He can't really do much. So he just has to take his lumps and die in the very end. And thanks to FlyQuest actually getting the first Drake, they are not on Soul Point. So that is very important to keep in mind. It is going to be a Mountain Soul, but Dignitas is not yet on Soul Point. Hopefully for them, they can just take these next 2 Drakes, hopefully looking to be around like 26-minute Dragon Soul or 27-minute Dragon Soul, or maybe end it sooner, as looks like Johnson's getting caught out.
Yep, you got caught out just a little bit. Afremu wanted to sneak a little taste of CC on him, and give him get a little whiff there. But this gold lead now over 6,000 before the 20-minute mark. And yes, I was saying earlier that FlyQuest has a nice scaling comp, but the game's starting to go away from them just a little bit too fast. They don't mind losing this next dragon. It's not the end of the world. Yes, I guess. Okay, they prefer not to lose it, but you can't get wiped at this dragon. If you lose a big team fight at this third dragon or defending one of these outer non-base turrets, it could be game for you. It could be two inhibitors, it could be Baron, and here we're seeing between two turrets engaged directly
Ooh.
onto Oriana. This is right under two turrets, and we're able to get the Oriana directly out. One gets away, but Dignitas is going to be able to take that pick, use this rift, and let's see. Do they go for the inhibitor? Do they go for the Baron? Looks
This is
like
definitely
easy inhib.
This is definitely turning into an inhibitor, and it's probably going to turn out into a bot lane tier 2 turret as well as Renekton's pushing down there. I doubt it's going to turn out into anything more unless they can get a really good team fight, but Licorice does commit the ultimate.
Looks like Licorice wanted to re-engage there, but he's being caught a little bit caught out. Fake God's going to go ahead and teleport into the back. He is into the back lines, but there's nothing really more left to take. It's very interesting how the inhibitor was being left open like that. It was an interesting play. FlyQuest, it looked like they were kind of talking about, do we want to leave this inhibitor up? Do we want it to purposely go down? They had the option there, but there, Fake God took the option away from them, teleported in, guaranteed the team fight win, and took out the inhibitor. They're going to have top pressure on this map, and if they don't take the Baron now, they can shortly, and they decide, you know what, Rav? We're just going to take it now and save you a breath.
Indeed, why wouldn't you take the Baron? You took down the top inhibitor, so that lane is going to constantly push away from you, giving you priority in the top lane permanently. You took down the Ornn, and even if you didn't, he didn't have his ultimate to come and engage. You still have a nearly 10,000 gold lead. You're able to, if they don't get a good engage on you, you're able to just smack them in the face with your wallet and just obliterate them. Oriana doesn't have her second item. Graves doesn't have his second item. Rel doesn't even have an item. You have advantages all across the board, and if unless they get a good wombo combo, Ornn ult into Ori ult, into Rel E, Rel ult, something along those lines, it's pretty much doomed for FlyQuest. However, right now, FlyQuest just needs to stall this game out as much as possible. They need Johnson to farm. They need Johnson to get kills. If a fight comes out and Johnson just gets 2 kills, any 2 kills, any 2 of those shutdowns, it is so good for FlyQuest because right now, Johnson seems to be their prime win condition. Palafox is getting fed enough too, but it's still going to heavily rely on Johnson's ability to get those items so he can carry these team fights. The wall coming out from Dardoch will stall them out just a little bit more to get more free chip damage onto the bot lane tier 3, as it will end up falling to the cannon minions.
Holy smokes, you're telling me about chip damage. It took the whole tower down. Absolutely. It was a great wall. Going ahead and taking the team out, making the Baron do the work for them. And here, once again in mid lane, this tower is not long for its world. Dignitas playing this push smart, not over-engaging here, just realizing that they still have a little bit time left on in this buff, and here Fake God's gonna go ahead and push the supers into the top, just making no mistakes, wanting to make sure to show up really strong for the fans.
Action in the bot lane.
Yeah, they're pushing up, and look like FlyQuest wanted something, but it's dangerous. They got to decide somewhere.
Oh, and they're going in.
Looks like they're going on to Fake God. Ult is going to be knock him up. Fake God's so close to going down. They can't finish him off. And now the massive Yone is going to get 3 of them. And once again, you're seeing Saligo taking the Yone. Take sale and perks. Here, I'll show you how we do it in NA, bro. It's called We Hit Multi-Person Alts. Welcome. This is my house. My house. That's what
And
I'd
that
be
looks
saying.
like it's gonna be G's Dignitas with a huge fight, taking their first game in the LCS lock-in tournament. Oh, are they gonna dive? Looks like they might try and dive. Nope, they're just gonna end.
Well, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm excited a little bit for this Dignitas comp. Wow.
This Dignitas
Clip
team.
it, clip it. If they go like, if they only get 2 wins in the regular season, I can get teased about this. But you know, they they
honestly,
beat FlyQuest.
honestly, I am happily surprised from Dignitas.
Yeah.
Everyone had Dignitas as like a very bottom mid tier or high low tier team team. But this the way that Dignitas played this game, it really, really impressed me. Especially with Soligo in the mid lane. Afromu doing his thing, being very special, but Soligo with the Yone actually just getting these huge ultimates. We talk about Oriana Shockwave. Nah, screw that. How about Yone ultimates? That's gonna be huge. And as more and more of these mid laners come and pull out Yone, I'm starting to think that Yone and Akali are going to be two very prominent mid lane bans or first picks because Akali, let's face it, she's still broken when you're in the top tiers because she just has been since ever. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this Dignitas team shakes out throughout the lock-in tournament. Maybe we can have some more accurate power rankings going into the regular season.
Oh, I got your dig there. Well, everything's said for me. Yeah, you have it. I'm slightly excited for this Dignitas team and look forward to watching some of their games in 2021. Thanks, Stripes.